All right, today we are diving into a perspective that might just challenge one of the most basic things you think you know about your own life. We're talking about a philosophy of life, choice, and consciousness that could really change how you see everything.
You've heard it a million times, right? We don't get to choose our parents, where we're born, or when we show up. It's just the luck of the draw. But what if that's not the entire story? What if that fundamental fact of life isn't as solid as we think?
Okay, so let's get right into it. The idea that you could actually choose your birth. I mean, it sounds pretty out there. It goes against everything we're taught. But the teaching we're looking at today presents this really fascinating alternative.
And here's the crucial distinction. According to this viewpoint, this ability to choose isn't for everyone. It all comes down to your level of spiritual development. So for most people, yeah, life feels like it's happening to them, but for some, they're the ones in the driver's seat. This is the core idea we have to get our heads around.
So, let's break this down. What's the real difference between an ordinary person and this enlightened being? Understanding this is the key that unlocks this whole concept. This slide lays it out perfectly. On one side, you have the ordinary person, just kind of getting tossed around by the waves of life, completely at the mercy of circumstance, a total passenger. But on the other side, the enlightened being has become the captain of the ship. They can actually steer their own course, even into the next life.
And get this, these aren't just vague choices like, I want a happy life. The source is super specific. An enlightened person can apparently choose to be reborn into one of three very specific, influential types of families. We're talking noble families, families of great thinkers, or really wealthy and respected families. That implies an absolutely incredible level of control.
So, the multi-million-dollar question is, how? How is any of this even possible? Well, the answer, according to this teaching, is found in one place and one place only, the mind. It all boils down to understanding and training your own consciousness.
And that brings us to the nature of the mind itself, because it holds the key to our freedom, but you know what? It's also the source of our biggest illusions.
The practice described here is really one of constant vigilance. It's about training and protecting the mind, basically standing guard at the door of your own inner world to keep out all the negative stuff.
And just when you think you're getting it, okay, train my mind, protect my mind, the teaching hits you with a total plot twist. That mind you're working so hard on, it's not actually yours.
This is where we get into a huge concept in Buddhist thought called anatta, or not self. It's the radical idea that if you look closely enough at anything, including your own mind, you won't find a solid, permanent, unchanging you anywhere in there.
And the logic behind it is actually pretty simple. First, just watch your mind. It changes constantly, right? Thought after thought, feeling after feeling. Well, second, anything that's always changing can't be permanent. It has to come and go. And if it's not permanent, then how can it be a solid self? The conclusion? The mind is a process, not a thing you own.
This quote from the source really just drives it home. It's saying that our natural tendency to believe I am my thoughts or I am my feelings is the oldest trick in the book. It's a fundamental misunderstanding that has fooled humanity for a very, very long time. So if the mind isn't a single thing that belongs to us, then what is it? Well, it's described as this incredibly fast, non-stop cycle of events. Let's walk through that process. It all starts when a tiny moment of mind, citta, just pops into existence. Instantly, the intellect, mano, kind of latches onto it. Then consciousness, vijnana, figures out what it is. And just like that, poof, the whole thing vanishes and the next cycle begins immediately. And the speed here is just mind-boggling. It's this constant, chaotic dance of appearing and disappearing over and over and over that creates what we experience as our reality. It's way less like a solid rock and much more like the flickering frames of a movie projector. Now, let's step back and look at this from a different angle. Our source suggests we shouldn't just think of this as some ancient belief system. Instead, we should see it as something far more systematic.
It's presented as a science of the mind. Now, we're not talking about lab coats and experiments here. It's a science in the sense that it's a rigorous system based on cause and effect. If you do this, you will observe that inside your own consciousness. It's a very practical, hands-on exploration of your inner world.
And here is the ultimate payoff. When you truly understand this inner science, when you stop identifying with the mind and start seeing it as a process you can observe, the whole game changes.
You go from being controlled by your thoughts and moods to becoming the master of the entire process. And that is what unlocks the choice.
Which, of course, leaves us with one last massive brain-breaking question. If this whole stream of consciousness, all the thoughts, feelings, and awareness, if that's just an impersonal process, and it's not actually us, then who are we? Something to chew on.